We've all been in that situation where we met a really attractive woman and we started to fall for this woman too quickly. And in this video, I want to explain to you guys what to do if you're somebody that this happens to at all. If it's ever happened to you or if it happens to you very consistently. I know men that it's only happened to one time where you really meet that one special, amazing woman. I know other men that they constantly are getting obsessed with the new girl. And this concept that I'm about to explain applies to pretty much everybody, because even if it hasn't happened to you yet, I promise you as a man at some point, you're gonna meet a woman that you really like, and you're gonna wish that you watched this video in full before that happens. Some of you guys, maybe it's already happened. Either way, you're gonna need to learn from this to do better next time so you're not losing these women that actually have a high level of significance in your life. Now, I was the guy in my 20s who got no women. Then I started really obsessing over women that I would start to attract, which would ultimately lead to me losing them. Then I started having some success years later. And then maybe after 6 or 7 years of taking this very seriously and hiring coaches and even starting to coach other men, I got into a relationship that I was really happy with. And even at the beginning of that, there was some aspects of the concepts that I'm going to explain in this video. So I've dealt with this on so many different levels. I've helped so many men achieve their dream dating lives as well. If you want to hear more about my journey, the clients I've helped, and how I can help you build more social confidence and start consistently landing dates, check out the in-depth training that's located below this video. I go over all of that and a lot more. It's a longer but really valuable free training. Okay, watch that video. Let's talk about this. What to do when you get obsessed too quickly with women. Now, the main thing I want to explain is that as a man, it is really important that you can develop a high level of emotional intelligence, stoicism, your ability to stay grounded, and you've probably heard the term becoming unreactive, right? That does not mean that you're not going to feel emotions. And I think a lot of content online talks about this idea of, remaining detached, being closed off, not being emotional. And to some extent, that's true. But what I'm not saying to do is completely close off your emotions. I want you guys to actually experience these emotions. You're going to experience these emotions. It's inevitable. The thing is, though, is that as a man, it's your duty to not be swayed emotionally to the point where you start to impulsively act out based off of those temporary emotions, which is what they are. All emotions are temporary. And so when you can start to understand that you're gonna experience this, you don't avoid these situations, you're gonna feel the feelings, and you need to, as you become more grounded, more rooted, right? You become less swayed. If you think about a tree and a strong gusts of winds are blowing the tree, the deeper the roots, the more grounded the thing is, that the stronger and more composed the structure can remain. And that's exactly very similar to what I'm talking about here, is that you're gonna feel the feelings. There is a big difference between acting out impulsively on those emotions versus feeling them. And even if you feel really pulled in a direction, that doesn't dictate your external actions that you have. And I'll give you a couple examples of this, because it's not just with women, by the way. If you want to think about this, one of the most common scenarios that comes to my mind is this story that Mike Tyson tells. And he explains that before every fight, he would be in the back room and he would be extremely nervous. He wouldn't be able to sit still. He had high levels of anxiety and nervousness as he was getting called to go out onto the stage. And even the whole walk down towards the ring, even the moment he got in the ring, the whole time, he was really nervous and hyped up. And it wasn't until the fight was right about to start that when the bell rang, he then was able to tap into a different mindset and just kind of go with the flow. And his body would just kind of like take over in that moment. But everything leading up to that, he had high levels of anxiety, right? So I say this because I want to let you guys know, even the best fighter of all time feels feelings of anxiety, feels feelings of nervousness, feels these emotions. The greatest, I guess you could say, pickup artists, right? The guys that are consistently going out and approaching women, It's not that they don't feel anxiety anymore. It's not that they don't feel emotion. I could go out on the street, even if I've just made a bunch of approaches, if there's a woman I'm really attracted to, I'm going to feel something internally. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want to be a robot that's just closed off to emotion the rest of your life. You're going to feel emotions, and you as the man need to learn to take control of your own brain and your own self-talk to take the right actions in any of these scenarios, regardless of how you're feeling in that moment. Not avoiding the emotion completely, which is what a lot of you guys do, or not acting out impulsively as a means of avoiding an uncomfortable thing. And really just not spontaneously making a bad decision just because of a feeling. And again, it's not even just with women. This just has to do with discipline as a whole. And that's really why I encourage men to become the most disciplined version of yourself, because it bleeds off into every category. Like if you can't get lean and you can't say no to certain food and you can't get your ass on the fucking treadmill and you can't hit your wake up time, you're not productive, you're not doing the uncomfortable actions that you want to do for the day. There's a lot of times where I don't really want to record. Like right now, it's 11:40 in the morning and I'm not really in the mood to record today, but I know that this was one of my goals. This is an important element of my character. There's actions that I need to do regardless of how I'm feeling a lot of the times. And a big part of that though, it ties into what I'm saying here. So all of these actions tie into becoming a really disciplined version of yourself. All right, and that's why the wake up time I think is important, eating healthy food is important, doing some sort of physical activity is important, cold shower or meditation or any of these elements, cold approach even, I think all of these are practicing doing an uncomfortable thing. And so I know maybe for a moment in this video we've gotten outside the scope of, well, Kyle, what do I do if I'm getting so obsessed or attached so quickly? And you might even see other videos that talk about, well, keep yourself busy and you need to detach from these things. No, what I'm saying is you're gonna feel emotions. You're gonna feel constantly pulled in different directions as a man. What you're not gonna do though is act out impulsively, okay? And so how does this apply to the main title of this video? When what to do when you get obsessed too quickly with a woman. It's okay to feel a strong attachment to a woman that you just met. You're not gonna be able to prevent that from happening unless you're actually avoiding a situation altogether. Go in and experience that. Go in and experience it multiple times. Go in and experience the worst case scenario with the whole thing. Lose the woman. Literally, lose the woman. What? Kyle, you telling me to lose the woman? Yeah, lose the fucking woman. I don't think you understand how many women I've lost. I don't think you understand how many times I've gotten rejected. I don't think you understand how many times I've had to sit behind a camera and record a video when I didn't want to. A lot of times, man. But each time you go through that process, that is what strengthens the roots. You go through the process, and even if the worst case scenario turns out, you realize, okay, there was nothing, the emotion I was feeling was nothing but a fucking fictional bullshit, right? And then the next time you encounter it, it's not as big of a deal. And more importantly, you didn't listen to the bullshit voice in your head that was telling you to do the opposite action. And so the way that this actually applies is, what do you do when you start obsessing over a woman? Yes, you should still be taking action. Yes, you should still be on your self-development journey. Yes, you should still be doing these things. But most importantly is you don't start acting out impulsively based off of the emotions you feel for that woman and start doing the wrong actions that are going to turn that woman off. I could feel nervous and still go up and make a cold approach regardless of how I'm feeling. Will I be a little shaky? Maybe. Can I tell in my own voice that I'm a little nervous? Yeah. I'm still going to be able to go through the actions because I know what the right actions are. So I'll take the action anyway. And if I do that enough times, it won't be a big deal anymore. I could really like a woman. That doesn't mean I'm going to quadruple text her, right? That's acting out of emotion. You send a message and then she doesn't respond, then you send another message, and then she doesn't respond, you send another message. Or when you call her, you start acting like a little fucking girl because you're all excited. Or you went on 1-2 dates and you're feeling like overwhelming amounts of love and then you just spill your guts to her. It's too soon. I don't care how you're feeling. I'm not saying to avoid the feelings, but there is a difference on acting based out of the emotion versus feeling the emotion, being aware that you're experiencing this emotion, and still taking the right action. So what is the right action if you're really like a woman? Okay, if you text her and she doesn't respond, give it a couple days and chill. I don't care what's going on up here. You chill the fuck out. Those feelings will subside. You're going on 1-2 dates, you really like her. It's not the time to confess your love to her. You could feel that way in that moment. It's not the right time to confess your love to her. You don't need to lie about any of it either. You could tell her from a confident place, honestly, I had a lot of fun with you tonight. I really enjoyed getting to know you the last couple of dates, right? You can say those things, but what you don't do is you start acting like a little girl just because you feel emotions like a little woman, okay? So there's a fine line between suppressing and avoiding these situations versus completely detaching from all of it and trying to be like cold-hearted and closed off versus actually experiencing them, going through them, and maybe you do lose yourself a little bit. You learn from the experience and you optimize. Just like if I'm trying to get lean and I fucked up on my diet, doesn't mean I can't still get lean. I went through an experience, I made mistakes, I saw where my brain went wrong and talked me out of doing the thing, and I learned from it. And so the next time I'm in that scenario, I'm a more evolved, mature, experienced person that knows how to properly navigate that scenario. That's how you'll actually become grounded. That's how you'll learn to not be so impulsive around your emotions. And this ties into all forms of discipline. All right, and so you can play it right even though you feel a little bit more obsessed or whatever the word is. You just don't act on that. You play it cool. You still come from a confident position. You can discuss how you're feeling, but you don't overflow. Okay, that's where you guys go wrong, and that's why you'll still lose women this way, and that's why I lost women in the past. I learned from it. I got better with it, and I became more mature and experienced through the process. If you're not interacting with enough women, if you're not getting into conversations with the type of women that really excite you, you're not experiencing any of the things I'm talking about in this video, or you're losing women, I would love to help you make a transformation. I said it at the beginning of the video. There's an in-depth training below this video in the description. Stop watching YouTube content. Go watch this training. I talk more about my journey, the valuable lessons I've learned that transform me, my clients, as well as the specifics around how I can help you make that transformation as well. Links in the description. That's all for this one, guys. Be aware of your emotions versus the actions that you're putting out to the world, regardless of how you're feeling internally in that temporary moment or that temporary burst of emotion. I'll see you in the next one.